Hello and welcome to the Skating Lesson Podcast. And today I'm really excited because I get to speak first, which never happens. But I'm also super thrilled because I get to introduce you all to my lovely co-host, who we all know and love, Ms. Jennifer Kirk. Now, first question, you have a total name crisis, and I need to know the history of this because I was trying to remember, and I was getting so confused because you did this to us, and now I never know what to call you. Are you Jenny? Are you Jen? Are you Jennifer? What do you introduce yourself as if you meet someone now?
Definitely not Jennifer. I was Jennifer in school, but that's like weird. Like I'm not a Jennifer.
Okay.
I'm Jen or Jenny. I think I was Jenny when I was a skater, and now I'm back again, like in the skating world. So I feel like I've adopted that. But people that have known me my whole life, like my sister, she calls me Jenny. My friends call me Jenny. So let's go with Jenny.
I always refer to you by both names. People do
Yeah.
this with me too, because I think I talk so fast when I say my name. But you're always Jenny Kirk. You're
Yeah.
always Jenny Kirk.
But it's very weird. Speaking of your name, when people call you David, I'm like, no, he's Dave. Who's David? like Ty used to call you David Peter. I think she thought your last name was Peter, and I was like, who's David Peter? No, this is Dave. We love you, Ty. Hi.
We do. Ty is like, oh, my favorite
Me
forever. Forever. Oh my goodness.
Forever two and one. Two is one.
Yes. So Jenny, what are your roles at the skating lesson?
Okay, well, I do all of the editing. So all of the final product that you see, Dave sends me the clips, I insert it, I spend the hours doing the Final Cut Pro, exporting, uploading it onto the website, and along with Dave, I call and set up interviews, I send him my questions, and he puts together the outline. So like Dave said, in his part of the interview, he does kind of the pre-production, and I do most of the post-production, putting together the final product.
Yeah, so we're very appreciative for Jenny because she does a bang-ass job with the editing, and
There were some rocky days when we first started editing it, and I didn't know anything about like Final Cut Pro. Poor Dave. I was texting him, and I was like, I hate this! I can't do this! And he was trying to get all his tech friends to help me, but thankfully I found a great tutor from Craigslist, Philip, and he's been so helpful. And
Jenny's really been a trooper, so you all need to understand that. She has been like a trooper and beyond.
Trooper.
So
he puts up with me when I get really stressed out, which I do all the time. It's lovely.
So what is your favorite the TSL moment thus far?
Well, there's a moment after every single interview, after we sign off from the interviewee on Skype, I'll call Dave right away. And we have this weird connection where I always know exactly what he's going to say, like immediately, because it's something that we experienced together. So a couple weeks ago, we interviewed Frank Carroll, and it was an interview we were so nervous about. We had been going back and forth with our questions. We had 9 pages of questions, people. That was a lot. Going back and forth, just trying to edit this, and then it's always scary when you start the interview. You want the person to speak. So Frank did such an amazing job speaking honestly, and that phone call after the interview, calling up Dave, and I was crying because I'm a big dork like that, and Dave was pitting out. He had like big pit stains because he was so exhausted from the interview, and it was just a fun moment to share with somebody else because I'm so used to skating and then getting off the ice and not having a partner to share it with. So that was cool.
Yeah, I was definitely sweating during Frank
That was
because
scary.
I knew what we were asking him later in the interview. So
No, but it was a fun moment, and I think another fun moment is always before interviews. I'm very like nervous and serious, and Dave comes on Skype like the 5 minutes before, and he is singing and dancing, and it relaxes me so much because I'm trying to be serious, and then you see Dave like singing Mariah Carey or dancing to some Beyonce song, and he just relaxes me. So I love those moments before and after because you get to share it with your partner. It's cool.
So what is your favorite part of TSL? Besides getting to know me all left, right,
It has been amazing. I love sharing it with a partner. It's so fun to have somebody that you go through the ups and downs of this experience with. But it's definitely, like you talked about in your interview, Dave, it's having people tell their stories. And I think you and I grew up watching so many of these people that we've interviewed as skaters, doing their fluff pieces, competing at nationals, worlds, and the Olympics. So to talk to them now and to feel like we're connecting with them, there's a moment in every interview where you kind of start to understand who that person is, and the whole like the barrier of technology and everything, it goes away, and you're just having this honest conversation with somebody. And I love that, and I love the fact that we can bring these interviews to other people and share that knowledge and just have these conversations. like you said, Dave, it's something I don't think anybody is doing right now. So to be the first people to do this and to have people tell their stories, it's very unique and rewarding.
Yeah, sometimes I forget that we're talking about skating because we talk about other things and get into other kind of.
Yeah, and you start to see that these people, they're amazing athletes, but they're not just skaters. They've all been through such adversity as people, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah. Okay, so this part I'm super nervous about.
Wow, this is the co-host part. Bring it on, baby.
So what is the best thing about your co-host, Jenny Kirk?
Oh my God, where do I start? Honestly, like, Dave, you guys, he's awesome. First of all, he puts up with me. Second of all, he's so hardworking. Like, you tell Dave to do a task, not only does he do it, he does like 10 times as much. We were preparing for our Elaine Zayak interview one morning. I wake up, I have 16 emails from Dave of just articles that he thinks he's read that he thought that I should read. And he has such a brain that constantly wants to learn. Like, he's never satisfied. So it pushes me to be better. I know he's always going to show up for these interviews and be ready, be on it, give it everything that he has. And that just motivates me so much to be better as an interviewer. And just our dynamic. I think it's so fun that we were friends before this, but this has definitely brought us closer. And he's funny, he's lovable, he has such a big heart. He would be a great husband, people. So, just FYI, if you're single, contact him. But he's a great person, a great friend, and a big heart.
Well, I'm sorry to overwhelm you because I get a thing when I get too many emails. And I think back to Elaine Zayak, we actually, Elaine competed before we were alive. So I felt like we had our homework to do, people. This is Elaine Zayak, and we needed to know who she sat next to in second grade to really get down to the bottom.
But that's why I love you so much, because Dave knows that that's important. And I think the viewers appreciate that when we show up for an interview. And we have read 16 articles about Elaine Zayak, and he pushes me to do that. So thank you.
All right, so the question that I've been worried about for days. What is the thing that annoys you the most about your co-host? Of the list of many, which annoys you the most?
There's really nothing, but I think that anything that comes in, like there was once where Dave, we share an email account. So there are little things, like he'll read an email and then read it and then not save it. And I'm so anal about it, I have to be able to respond to everybody's email. So it's those little things about learning to compromise. But Dave is, like he said during his interview, everyone's strength is also their weakness. He cannot hide anything. So there are times when we'll be, and thankfully we don't have these anymore, but we would have these brainstorming sessions, and I knew he was in a mood, or I knew he was pissed off about something that I did because it was all over his face. And he does the whole, I'm just tired. It's nothing. And I knew I was gonna I wanted to get it out of him so badly. So there are times when I want him to just lay it on me a little bit more, because I think he's very respectful of other people's feelings, which is great, but sometimes I can take it. Tell me when you're upset with me. Do you hate me now?
No, but I think people, I do have a few. So there is. And it's all on video, which is so bad, is that Jenny will record our sessions so that we can use it for bloopers or behind the scenes, so we don't forget something. Some of my really ugly moments are on camera, which is really, I get nervous about them.
It's on, we all have it, and it's honest. And we've learned now from when those tense moments happen that we don't have those sessions anymore. Now we do everything by correspondence through email, so I don't get my head bitten off.
I think people understand is that we were putting a show, we put a show together every week, and we'd be meeting on Monday and on Wednesday and we're trying to fill in our lives, and it's exhausting.
And we didn't know each other, so all of a sudden you're learning. And so that whole honeymoon period, everybody has in a relationship where you're hiding all your bad stuff. When it's 10 o'clock on a Friday night and you're exhausted, you're not going to be Susie Sunshine. So I think we really fast forwarded to that ugly moment where...
Really quickly. We've shared some really interesting moments in interviews together.
So we bonded. But Dave's great. He really is.
Well, thank you for being nice about it. But what is the thing that surprised you the most about your co-host?
You're really nice. And I, after reading your blog for so many years, even though we were friends, I always had this feeling ooh, is he vindictive? Is he a little bit gossipy? But you really don't gossip. You genuinely care about people, and anything that you say about somebody is either you're saying it because it's pertinent information in an interview, but you're never out to get somebody or get the scandal. That's not you at all. And I think a lot of people have that misconception. And when they first meet you, they think, is he going to be scary? But you're a teddy bear. Not good at all.
Michael Buckley said that. He said, "Oh, I think this video has lightened you up." And I don't know, maybe it's my tone that comes across, and I think some of it is like the facial expressions and some of
Like
maybe
you
the
definitely
tone.
you have opinions, but none of it is to like hurt anybody. You're never out to make somebody feel bad, and I think that's a misconception people may have.
So, Jenny Kirk, what is your favorite skating move to watch and to do?
Okay, to watch is Paul Wiley's outside spread eagle, ooh, and I'm going through puberty, to his inside spread eagle with the arm up and he's looking over to the side. I just think it's glorious. Yes, he like hits that position and he holds that edge and looks so sexy. But not in a creepy way, just like in a pretty way. My favorite skating move for me to do, probably triple sow cow. There's something about that back edge where you get up into the air that is it just feels good in my stomach.
Are you an edge jumper or a toe jumper, Jenny Kirk?
I like sows and flips. I'm a 3-turn jumper. I like jumps that have 3 turns before it.
You like that little danger of like the 3 turn.
Of like the swingy 3-turn, yeah.
Okay. So who is your favorite skater?
Okay, this is going to surprise you. I'm going to go with Michelle Kwan. And
That's such a lie.
okay, no,
That's
here's
such
the
a
thing.
lie.
I always respected her, but I never like loved her. And after we interviewed Frank Carroll, I had to spend 48 hours watching every single Michelle Kwan like performance ever to insert it into the edit of it. She was amazing, phenomenal. He was so right. There are no skaters today who skate like her. So Michelle Kwan and Kurt Browning, those are just 2 skaters that I could watch skate all day long and would never get bored.
Who were your favorite skaters as a kid?
Growing up, I loved Tara, which is funny with the Michelle thing. Definitely Nancy Kerrigan in '94. Paul Wiley too. I was a Scott Fold girl. I was loyal.
Okay. Now, who were Pat Harris's? Jenny had a very formidable skating mother. So who were Pat Harris's favorite skaters?
She was a Christy Yamaguchi. She would call it.
So was I.
Yeah, she would call it Mary and say, "I do not want Jenny skating like Nancy. Jenny is a Christy." Mary loved that because Nancy and Christy were like head to head. But yeah, my mom was definitely all about Christy and Kurt. She liked the nice edges, the artists.
So what is your favorite skating program that you have done and that you have watched others do?
Okay, my favorite skating program that I've watched others do. Tara Lipinski winning the 98 Olympic title. I used to watch that program in the back of Moon Skate Shop every day before the 2:30 session with my friends to get me like zhuzhed up for my long program. So hands down, that was just a program of grit and phenomenal.
Don't you think that she had an imaginary steak knife, like going after Michelle Kwan? Like, she was not going to wait her turn.
No,
and if
she was not. And
if you know Tara, she's not waiting her turn for anyone. Like
that Starbucks line in the Olympics, it's no. I'm Tara. I need my latte now.
Yes.
No,
How about that you have done?
I actually really liked my Evita program. I liked doing the little hip dancey. That was a lot of fun, particularly at Nationals in 2001. But of course, Roxy too. Skating that on tour every night. It's like I got to go out and show people my actual personality. I was not skating with prom hair to deflator mouths, which was so not me.
Well, I loved your Pocahontas program, and you would like do this. Okay, it was so dramatic at the very end. Like you're
Because
doing.
I died on the ice, right?
You died, but then like you look up for a second, and then you died again. It was.
And I totally choreographed that in. My choreographer was like, "I don't think Pocahontas dies at the end." And I was like, "No, I need to. This is a show program with lyrics. I am dying on the ice, and I'm really gonna milk it."
And admit it, you like dying on the ice because Jenny always teases me that she thinks that I would die at the end of every program. And you did, Jenny Kirk. You died at the end of your program.
I think that's why we got only the best die at the end of the program. I mean, you have to.
It just takes so much out of you. You can't go on.
You're such drama queens. Really are.
So what is something that people would be surprised to hear about you?
Okay. Dave's gonna love this. Okay, so I look all like put together and pretty and young. I can belch like no other.
They're all kind of similar, and
Ooh, that was such a big one. I'm sorry. And the first time I did it, Dave practically fell off his chair and had a heart attack. And I don't realize that, like some people with Dave, you don't burp around Dave Lease. He will disown you. And it so offended him. He had like tears in his eyes. You would have thought that I just said the biggest insults about Debbie Lease, his mother. But no, I burp all, like I'm a gassy girl.
It always shocks me, and it's really the shocking if people burp around my food, like I can't eat the food, like I'm really obsessive compulsive like that. Like I'll throw out like whatever I'm drinking, like.
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
And my sister does it all the time because she's pregnant, and but yeah, oh my goodness.
Well, have you ever dated somebody? The worst is when you date a guy and he blows it in your face, like the burp, and then. I will never do. I'm like respectful about my burping. It's just really loud.
Jenny, they wouldn't make it 15 minutes.
You would flip that switch that you get during brainstorming sessions so quick, and you would just be like, listen.
We would be so done. Like it would just not happen like that. So.
Yeah, so I'm a burper.
So who is your dream interview as a skater?
Michelle Kwan, because like Dave, I think we could get her to talk. I think she. Just touring with her and whatnot. She's a really fascinating she's a fascinating person with us. She's a fascinating person, and she's somebody who is so wise and has so much wisdom, and I think just she could share a lot that would help younger skaters, and she's incredible both on and off the ice, what she's done with her life. I really admire her. So
you were quite the skating competitor, and you had quite the list of rivals during your career.
Did.
Who got under your skin more than anyone else and made you want to just get out there and do it, whether it was on a practice session or in a competition? Who really got under your skin?
Okay, well, in a practice session, we trained with this girl, and she's fine, like whatever, Luann Donovan, and I hope she's watching this. Her dad was just a really hands-on skating dad, and my mom was a really hands-on skating mom, and it was like they would sit on opposite ends of the rink at Skating Club of Boston, and one time we were both going into triplettes, and you knew, if you're going into a jump at the same time as me, I'm not going to move. I'm going to do my jump. And she called me a bitch. And after that, it was, because I did the lutz and I made her so she couldn't do her jump. After that, it was on. And she like, every time she was doing a jump, I had to do, if she did a triple flip, I wanted to do a triple flip, triple toes. It was really good for my skating training with her. But at competitions, and Patrice McDonough, she was another one that just could get that fire in my belly going.
Who had the best bitch face in the locker room?
Ooh, Sarah Hughes had a pretty good one. I remember her eyeing me in 2001 Nationals. Yes, she and Robin Wagner would sit there and just look at everybody. It was very tense before that free skating, the final group at Nationals.
What would be surprised you about the locker room at Nationals after like the 6-minute warm-up or right before?
How insecure we all were. Like, it was really funny because you would think that we'd all be in our zone, but we were all just checking each other out, like who got a new dress, who's doing this, who's doing that. Like, you could just see the eyes darting back and forth that we were all, and now talking to skaters, we were all had some insecurities.
Were you all like, oh, you look so pretty?
No, there was no talking. It was like, you could just feel that tension. It was like humidity when you walked in, but everybody was just, you would be down, like tying your skate, and you knew there were 5 pairs of eyes on you.
Would you all be friendly on tour?
Yeah, and you know what? It was actually like, I roomed with Sasha a couple times, and I genuinely like her. Like, I think there was a mutual respect, and it was fun, but at Nationals, before that long program, we hated each other, or at least I hated them.
Who got in your way the most on the 6-minute warm-up ice?
Sasha. But here's the thing: the whole like hitting Michelle thing. I don't believe it. She's just in a world of her own on the ice. When Sasha's skating, she's not looking out for anybody but Sasha.
So, who is your dream interview outside of skating?
Oprah. I'm a big Oprah fan. I watch all of her stuff on YouTube before we interview people, and I feel like she just, like Michelle, she's so wise and she has so much to offer. So.
And my final question, who is the best at holding an edge and looking sexy?
Dave Lease. No doubt about it. Just watching him do his program, he'll do his back spiral. I have a moment every time I watch that, but I think Dave Lease. And then you got to go with the original Scott Fold duo, Paul Wiley and Nancy Kerrigan, because Paul is just that. He holds those edges so well.
Well, Nancy could always do the change of edge really well, like even in their Last Night of the World program, which is the quintessential Scott Folds program. Like, Mary outdid herself there. I think she used every trick in her book when they skated together. And there was that moment when Nancy, like, did her edge. So what is Jenny Kirk? What are your nerdish insights outside of the skating arena?
Okay, well, and Dave knows about this, had an obsession with CNN. Like, literally, I went through, before the election this past year, I think from maybe the end of August to the beginning of December. That's all I would watch. I didn't let myself watch any other TV. It had to be on CNN. I could memorize everything they did. I woke up to Soledad O'Brien every morning, and now I've like OD'd on it. I don't watch CNN anymore. But I like psychology stuff. Like Dave, I like politics. I read a lot of political books. And I love just documentaries on Netflix. Like I'll spend my Friday nights watching that because I have a really rockin' social life.
So let's talk about who's your favorite TV anchor?
I really like Don Lemon. He's on the weekends on CNN. He has a little bit of sass. I've heard that if he like sees a celebrity and the celebrity doesn't know who he is, he'll like sass them. And I kind of like that. He brings his opinion into it more than others. And I respect that. How about you? Who's yours?
Ooh, well, I'm such an NBC person.
I was going to say, you're like
I'm a Maria Shriver. You know, there's like,
okay.
ooh. She has that like masculine voice, but then she's trying to change the world so much on Twitter, and I do appreciate that. But I was that, and then I met Ann Curry in person, and she was like the sweetest person.
Yeah.
When I was at the Olympics interning for NBC, I got to like meet everyone and make everyone, feel at home. I got to be like the Jenny Kirk, being like hello and welcome, and and Ann Curry like held my hand as we walked up the stairs, and she was like the sweetest woman, and you just wanted to like hug her. So when she was getting fired from the Today Show, I had like a really emotional reaction to it, and I think I'm still mad at Matt Lauer, even though NBC is trying to convince us that like he didn't actually fire her. I don't know if I believe that, but I feel for Ann. I just love her so much. But yeah, so also I want to ask you, when you get really mad, have you always stuck out your chin, or is that just something that happened overnight? Or
I think it's something recent because when I was younger and I got mad, my mom said I got dark eyes, where I would get like, and
it's
I could
a
do
dark
like,
eye. The eyes get narrow and the chin comes out.
Yeah,
and
I
like,
get this like Star Trek like wrinkleage going on, which is gonna need Botox in like 15 years. But yeah, I get very just, and I stick my chin out. You noticed that on our first brainstorming session.
Did you secretly enjoy when Evie Scottfield would make you mad?
I did. I like when people kind of get under my skin. It's like, you know what it is? It's like those sweet and sour candies. Like you hate the way it feels, but they taste so good. So like it feels okay. That was awkward. And I have awkward moments too all the time, as Dave knows.
So, okay. If for the skating lesson, if we got to skate with someone to any piece of music, what famous skater would you want to skate to, and what piece of music would you want to skate to them with?
Oh, Lord. I don't know. These are hard questions. You give me yours first.
Well, I have this vision and this dream that we are going to go. I think she lives in Minneapolis now, and we are going to go and skate with Karen Kadavi, and we are going to skate to Celine Dion. Maybe the whole greatest hits.
Oh, just her greatest hits album. And can we throw a Jill Trenery in there? I always wanted to skate with her, and I wanted to like tease my hair like hers with the big bangs.
I mean, I don't know if we could do Jill for Karen because I think they train together and were really competitive. But
we could you know what we could do? We could have an interview session where we like mend their relationship. Like,
well, I don't know if they were ever on bad terms, but I think like it was like you and Luann Donovan skating against each other. So
me and Luann Donovan and I were on bad terms. let's keep it real here. That poor girl. Hi. I'm sure she's not watching this.
So who would you want to skate with?
I'd want to go back and skate with Paul and Nancy and Evie and Mary standing at the boards, and Mary can be smoking a cigarette and Evie can be, in his golf windbreaker. And I just think, and Mary teaching us how to hold an edge and look sexy in the middle of the ice. And I think that would be so much fun. Just the dynamic.
What musical soundtrack should we skate to with Mary? If she did a program for us, like
it would totally be like Miss Saigon.
Well, I think it would what musicals do you think Mary's into these days?
Oh, I don't know. She was all about, she wanted me to skate to As Good As It Gets, the Jack Nicholson movie.
Do you think she's seen Wicked? Like, is she that kind of?
I think she's more commercial, perhaps. I want to know what Mary's doing now. Call us. Come on a skating lesson.
Yeah.
I love you.
All right. Well, this has been...
You know what? I don't have to pee. We made it through an interview with you not making me have to pee.
So this has been very enlightening, Jenny Kirk, and I could ask you questions all day, but we have time for that.
Usually. I ask you. Yes, we do not have time for that, and people don't have to sit there and watch us ramble.
Yes.
We love you, and thank you for coming to theskatinglesson.com. Let's say it one more time,
W.
www.skatinglesson.com. Bye,
Bye
guys.
for now.